To be honest, I grew up fighting. I was the new kid in school a lot. By the time I was in high school, I'd gone to probably 10 different schools. But as I was going to a new school, I was the new kid, and so I would get picked on, and so I was getting into fights all the time. What fascinated me about Aikido was the beauty of it. And I had the privilege of training with a very exceptional Aikidoka. My first teacher, he's not a big guy, he's about 5'4". His belt was shredded, his black belt was shredded. It looked like it was gonna break if he tied it too tightly. And he was tossing around these huge guys, bigger than I was, like they were nothing. And you could tell by their facial expressions that he was really throwing them. I was just mesmerized by it. And I knew in that moment that that was my calling. That was my beginning. What saddens me, what breaks my heart about Aikido is that most of it's garbage. After training for a while, I started getting exposed to some very jinky Aikido, seeing what the Aikido world actually is like. And it was, on one hand, it was kind of heartbreaking to see not everything is as amazing as we would like it to be, or as we are led to believe that it is. There's too much existentialism in Aikido. There's too much ego in Aikido. And a lot of what we do is impractical. You know, if you look at old video footage of Sensei, he's doing some very miraculous things. Now, if you don't have the eyes to see what he's actually doing, it looks pretty janky. It looks like everybody's just falling down for him. But Sensei, he went to war, okay? And he trained with very high-level competent teachers, and he was very well versed in violence, okay? And because he had that knowledge, he was able to do Aikido. Now, when you have a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, it loses the essence of the original. Nowadays, what you see people training more as a hobby, and there are very few people that ever get to a high level. Now, at the same time, we all want to aspire to be at a high level, but nobody wants to do the work to get to the high level. And everybody has an ego. So in a lot of ways, we're battling that ego. When I was having this conversation with my first teacher, who was amazing, he said, it doesn't have to be a martial art. And I get it. Not everybody trains martial arts so that they can protect themselves, okay? Some people just want to do something fun, and Aikido is fun, the movement is fun. Some people want to stay in shape, and Aikido is good for that too. You're getting up and you're getting down. It's basically doing burpees for an hour, right? Okay, it's good cardio. Some people do Aikido to learn how to move so that they feel comfortable in their own bodies, and these are all okay. There's nothing wrong with this, okay? But in context, it's a martial art. And so, in martial arts, we train violence. And if we want to be able to use this stuff in the context of protecting ourselves, in the context of being warrior protectors, there needs to be more realism in it. You know, what is the context of where you're at? Why are you training? Why are you doing what you're doing? Does this work in MMA? Well, no, but we're not training for MMA. We're talking about practicality, okay? You might be dealing with, a resource-based predator who is starving and is there to rob you because he needs food, okay? You may end up in a domestic dispute where you're over at a friend's house and two people start fighting one another right there, and you're trying to break it up, okay? And they're not MMA fighters, they're just friends of yours that are drunk. I mean, there are a myriad of reasons why you might have to deal with violence, and it's typically not fighting somebody who does MMA for a living. I was fortunate to be exposed. My first exposure to Aikido, outside of like movies, was a very incredible teacher, and it was unmistakable that he was an incredible teacher. What I love about Aikido is the versatility in the technique, how it never ends. I was sent to an Uchideshi program, a live-in student program in New York City, so I was training like 5 hours a day and had many teachers. After training for thousands of hours, I would still be seeing techniques that I had never seen before. I would go to seminars and I would see things that I'd never seen before. There's no end to it. I've been training for 24 years now, and I am on the mat, and I will finally get what somebody was trying to teach me 22 years ago. It's just a training without end.